So here we are. Welcome to the first meeting of August. And today is August the 8th. And it isn't just August the 8th, it's the 8th of the 8th. And apparently it's a very interesting spiritual portal of change. And hopefully that means that we're moving in the right direction in this world. There's a lot of chaos in the world and a lot of not so good things, but let's focus on the good things. And I have a little book here, which I just wanted to read something from. It's one of those little inspirational books that was given to me one day. It was actually from the Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University. Have you heard of that, Marty? Patty? Farah? Anyway, this—
I did not.
What's the name again?
Brahma Kumaris. And the Brahma Kumaris is an interesting spiritual set because it's run by women and it's all women. And this is not about women empowerment, but it's just a fascinating group. And this little book, there was a statement that really struck me. It said, never let anyone leave your company the way they entered it. A word, a blessing, a hand of friendship, the gift of time. This is the currency with which we pay forward for the future. I just thought that was a lovely way to start thinking about the gifts that we bring to each other. So today, Anab was going to come to us, and we know that she's having some issues with the weather and travel. And so we're going to be able to hear more about her work from Marti. But it's just, so welcome to all of you here and everybody who will hopefully see this recording when I post it up on our new YouTube channel. So we have a new YouTube channel, which is for Rotary Club of Global Impact. Isaac has just put this up. We're just testing it out. As many of you know, I'm not as au fait with technology as he is and Marty is and Patty is, I'm sure. But I have uploaded the first meeting of July, although I think it's gone to the wrong destination. So we'll get that sorted. But we will be posting up the meetings so that they will be there for everybody in the club and Friends of Rotary to go and have a look and see what's happened at various meetings. But today's meeting, I just wanted to offer our prayers to Dr. Mike, because he's floating somewhere in a hospital because of his back. So we're really wishing you a lot of prayers and support for Dr. Mike. So thank you for turning up in between whatever's happening to you down there in Florida. And also love and wishes and prayers for Doris, who had some problems yesterday, I believe, Doris, and with your own health and ending up in ours. So we are sending our prayers to all of you. And I'm very grateful to see that Farah is here from Malaysia, where I used to live and where I met Farah. And I would find it intriguing when we're meeting across the world globally, because we feel like we've touched each other, but we haven't actually been in the same room together. I do know Farah, which is good, and I'm looking forward to one day meeting all of you in person. I'm not quite sure where that destination is going to be, but I'm sure we'll find it. And maybe if you'll come to Las Vegas, whatever happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas, as they say. Yeah. So I'd like to invite Marty to share with us some news about Anab and Somaliland, because you've been very involved with her, Marty, I know.
Yeah.
And Anab is one of our members.
Yes, she's been doing a great job. I'll just go on ahead and share screen here. And I've got a good one. And just let me know if anybody, if for some reason I lose you on a page or it doesn't transfer over to the next page. But the Riyo Raac Foundation is easily found. You can see the URL up here with our founder, Anab Ali. It's at RioRaacFoundation.org. and this is our logo, RRF, Riyo Raac Foundation. People often ask, what does this mean? This actually means goat herders. And so this is the proud family in Somaliland, Africa. So Somaliland, of course, you know, is surrounded by many countries. It's right there on the water of Africa, very lucky. The very famous port of Berbera is a wonderful port. And the United States has recently strengthened its foundation and sharing with Somaliland. In fact, last year in the National Defense Authorization Act approved by the United States Congress, they directed the American government and White House to work more closely with Somaliland. Especially on the military side, we have had troops now in Berbera, the port of Berbera, and in the capital of Hargeisa. So Riyo Raac Foundation has been operating now just over 15 years. And Anab is a wonderful lamplight of compassion and love, kindness and joy and happiness. She's so funny. She's so filled with color. She's a devout Muslim worshiping lady, but you may notice all of the events that she attends, she has beautiful color dress on all the time. And that is a wonderful thing to see from her very strong and powerful husband, Yusuf. Yusuf encourages her to be all she can be, which is amazing for a devout Muslim man that I have prayed with on my knees on the carpet with them and with our daughter Rania praying together and learning more about the Muslim faith. Not the first time I've done that and probably won't be the last, but I think Paul Harris said it best when he was cornered one day about which church does he exactly go to and his faith group. And he said, I really would never be able to answer that. I go to all different churches and temples and synagogues and mosques and religious centers. And, there's so many to go to on Sundays. And he also threw in a very interesting comment about the fact that the radio now made it possible for so many people to attend services, that they could listen to various religious leaders on the radio. So I was like, wow, go get them, Paul. I'm a big believer of that. And Anab, of course, is receiving hundreds of children in from different faith groups, refugees, over 300 children at 4 orphanages that are run by Riyo Raac Foundation. The main one is in a small town I'll show you here on a map soon in a second called Wadamago. It's very famous for its big tree in the middle of the town and its famous wells. So they are a 501c3 organization. Some people often ask, what is their legal status if I make a donation? We do need your donations. As you saw on the previous page, we've received donations as much as $50,000 at a time. So as an umbrella organization, you can see here, like I mentioned, Wadamago is right here with the orphan centers, but also in other towns, you can see the orphan centers, and you'll notice a lot of the photos coming up here of the children and what Riyo Raac Foundation is doing. Disease prevention, development of the children and the poor and destitute, individuals with disabilities, including the deaf, blind, and physically or mentally disabled are welcomed. Drought relief and education to uplift and give somebody a life who's lost their parents and has no one on earth and doesn't know where they're at and is driven and stricken and sometimes exhausted. Also, orphan cares is part of Riyo Raac Foundation. They provide food, clothing, shelter, and educational assistance to orphans. And of course, it is always in a safe and nurturing environment. And you may wonder what the foundation of this for Anab is. She's a nurse by trade, owned a very famous in-home nursing and home care organization here in the United States, headquartered with her husband, Yusuf, who is a CPA, licensed and registered in many different states, but their nucleus is in Virginia, in the Beltway, right there in Ashburn. And so this is the basis of many of these projects to empower the future of Somaliland. And we can take a look at a couple of these recent projects and updates to see exactly what they're doing. And I often tell Westerners, don't be afraid of the writing and things like this. You know, some people get concerned when they see these types of things. These are all good people. They're out there with a soccer ball. They're singing, they're reciting the Quran. It just happens to be their religious book. And I mentioned on Facebook this week, I myself would never make fun of other people's religious texts, their scrolls, or their books. It's wrong in the universe. Here is the new building, just recently built for the girls. This is a girls' building. And I have contributed many, many times to the Riyo Raac Foundation. So I'm very proud of the things that are being accomplished. Scholarships and support, of course, community engagement and impact, and always the call to action, donate today. We do want you to donate. You can donate anything you want. Many times I go in and donate $17.76. So Anab always says, I can tell it is you who made donation last night. And so I'm very big on my 1776 donations. Headquartered, as I said, at 44121 Harry Byrd Highway, Suite 180 in Ashburn, Virginia. This is the United States headquarters. This is a very open nonprofit corporation, easy to find, easy to call, easy to email. Excellent website, not hiding none of these pages like contact us and there's no address. The address, the phone number, the nonprofit foundation numbers for the United States listed on every page. Same thing for Somaliland. In Somaliland, we have a little bit of different addresses. It's not as an aggressive zip code system. So we have things like this for the postman near Gobina Market. And also available on WhatsApp, naturally, and you can see a lot of the things that we're involved in and what we're doing just by clicking around on the website again at RioRaacFoundation.org. Let me spend just 1 minute showing you some of our most recent projects. I know many of you have been watching the videos I put out about the well. Water in Africa is critical. Here is our leader, Anab. I'll just have a little preview clip here. You can see her speaking with hundreds of the children. Of course, she goes there to Africa and they travel together to update and find out what's going on and to assist and even to teach and to help and care. This is the well, a lot of the well work going on. Now, this town is very famous for its well, so we know that the water's there. And also very famous for its tree, which is actually featured in a lot of our logo work and whatnot. And Abdi Rashid Mahmoud Ali is on with us today. That's our brother who lives in Somaliland. And Abdi Rashid Mahmoud was with his sister at the Rotary Foundation banquet. Everybody met them, everybody saw them. And of course, you can see Anab is right here, speaking at the African Summit. So this is Anab, and I know you all have met her, and that the light of the world shined upon you when you got a chance to speak with her. So she's very passionate about her work. And we encourage you to come in and take a look at the work that we're doing for education, disease prevention, drought relief, and development. A lot of these things fall right in line with the 7 areas of focus that Rotary is engaged in. This was the $50,000 check. And of course, sometimes you'll see words that you may not understand. These are actually words in Somali. The Somali language is what people speak in Somaliland. And I promised that I would show you a map, but not before asking you to please support us. We're doing good things. And it's not that difficult for Christians and Jews and Buddhists and all types of people around the world to support what's going on with the Riyo Raac Foundation. It doesn't matter what your job field is, or how you would like to donate, you can utilize Zelle, PayPal, check, or online. I usually use PayPal. For me, it's very simple. Let me bring up a map here just real quick, and then I'll end today and make sure everybody can see this over at Google, and that I don't lose you. Patty, did I lose you? No, you've got a good map here. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
just zoom out here on the earth away from Charlotte. This is where I'm speaking to you from today, in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let me just zoom out and let's head on over to Africa. 55 countries here in Africa, depending on who you want to argue with. 54, 55. Okay, I tell them it's pretty close. All right, give it up. Of course, a lot of our friends more recently here in Accra. We have big conferences recently this week in Ghana. So Ghana is over here on the western portion, and we kicked off several $100,000 in fundraising yesterday for a solar farm that we're working with over in Ghana. Now, what I would like to do is head over here. Many times I've driven across this ocean by ship. It's about 5 days, maybe 6, if you can get it up to 40 knots before you come through here in Gibraltar, all the way through the Mediterranean. And yes, many, many times through this particular Suez Canal here. And you would come down this way through the Red Sea. And this is all the way up if you're going into the Gulf. What I would like to do is focus in here, right here on the Gulf of Aden. I've been here many, many, many times, and you can see the port of Berbera coming up. This is Somaliland right here. So for 32 years, they have promoted peace and stability in their region of Somaliland. And this is the main port of Berbera that the Americans are working and helping in so much. This is their capital of Hargeisa right here. And so just this section over here, right here. Now, the rest of what everyone is afraid of is Black Hawk Down and Somalia and Mogadishu. That's not, Somalia is not Somaliland, okay? These are two different countries. And so we're looking at up here, Somaliland. And look at, you'll notice if you land in Hargeisa by airplane and you were to drive on this road here to the port of Berbera and stay in a beautiful hotel, you would end up driving all the way down this road. And look, here is the town that the orphanage is, Wadamago. And this town is so famous. Remember I mentioned the tree? Look at the tree. This is the famous tree. And this tree is so famous. And that's why it appears in the logo. And one day Anab said to me that people should not be arguing. They should be sitting under that tree, talking to one another. That is what they are supposed to be doing. And she's right. That's in their logo, the famous tree. And there was a Chinese construction company that came to town and was building the highway. And they tried to cut the tree down. And they told them, no, you don't. And they had to build. There were so many protests with people. Thousands and thousands of people out there. How dare you disrespect us and cut our tree down? They built the road around the tree now, okay? So you'll notice that they built the road around the tree. And there they are sitting under the famous tree. And indigenously, this is actually really a fig tree, guys, okay? These are very famous all around here, along with the well. And see how the road goes around the tree? So very, very famous. And if we go back to the map again, you will notice, of course, that Riyo Raac Foundation is on the map. So there they are there, and very highly ranked at 4.6. And if you like Anab and you like the work that we're doing and you've noticed the good things that we are engaged in, I would encourage you, honestly, please go in and give us a review and say something nice like, I actually met, Anab Ali at the Riyo Raac table, with Rotary Club of Global Impact during the convention. What a lovely lady she is. I've been following along with all the things that they're doing on the website and all across social media. and I've actually donated a couple of dollars. So you could do that. You could leave a review in that regard. We're not asking you to put falsified or fraudulent information, pretending that you were at the Riyo Raac Foundation or that you work there. That's not what we're asking you to do. So don't get confused. But if you come through town, this is a very important road. You will drive right by Riyo Raac Foundation, and you will see everything that's going on there. And not that you're probably going to be there anytime soon, but you'll see a lot of the things going on, like the finishing of the construction of the new girls' building is right here. And there's an op. Okay. So you'll see these things, and you'll see the progress of what's going on and the 4 orphanages and everything that we're involved in. Donations are deductible because, of course, it's a 501c3, and we do ask you to help the 4 orphanages in Somaliland today. If you ever wanted to get involved with making the world a better place for children, this is a great place to do that. And these orphanages are supported by the United States Presidential Service Center. And it's our intent to ask Abdirashid Mahmoud Ali, our newest member to be coming on, to open up a Rotary club underneath our club in Africa, in Somaliland. He's already been nice enough to establish an office for us there. So now we would like to open up a Rotary club for the children. And I'll just open it up to questions.
That's fantastic. What an amazing project. What an amazing woman. That's absolutely fantastic. And very insightful, Marti.
Yes, an amazing woman.
So let's have some questions. So there were actually, did you say 3 orphanages? So 300 children at the moment.
4 orphanages total, 300 plus children, just over 300.
And what's the age range?
Oh my gosh, if they can walk, then they can be dropped off. But generally, you'll see them in the classrooms, seated, hundreds in a classroom. So, it's pretty much the capability to walk, the capability to sit, and to be shepherded around. Literally, that begins around 4, 5, 6 years old. But, they have to have the facilities to facilitate this. And you'll notice most of the children are between the ages of, 7 and about 15. If you're just looking at the children and their size. And this year we celebrated for the first time, and Pauline, our kids that are 18 and graduating.
Yes, that's fantastic. I think it's amazing, and I think it's wonderful. So any questions from those on the call here?
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned one of the girls' buildings was completed. And
Yes.
How many girls' buildings versus boy buildings, and how are they separated on the property, or are they in different locations off property?
Yeah, a very good question. That's an important thing, especially, within their faith group. So here you can see a lot of the homes around the compound in Wadamago, because we're out on the edge of town. Okay. But this had to be done. And Anab told me a lot of the girls lived in town, in buildings, and they would have to come and transport, to receive training, education. And big goal, Patty, is to establish more buildings for them. This building, which was built, here you can see it under construction, and then the final finished proof, which is very important for people. They want to see finalized, finished proof of life things before they even donate $1. They're that stingy and that stickler, and you can't blame them. People want to see results and action, and Anab Ali is a lady of action. So this is on site, it's on the compound now, and this allows actually a private place for the girls to go to, and this is very important in their life.
Is that
Yeah.
I just want to add to that question with the girls building. Now, is that girl building, is that mixed ages or is
It
it
is.
kept for an age group?
It is mixed ages. Yes. Yeah, we have not gotten that lucky yet. Here you can see the back of and the wall and lining up, cinder blocks to do more construction. Yeah, we haven't gotten that lucky yet, but we are very hopeful that people will continue to donate. And we just had a $10,000 donation from some doctors.
That's
And could I
fantastic.
just, Pauline, do you mind if we could ask Marty also, how many liters per se per girls?
Yeah, the liters per girls, there's no shortage. And so one of the things that Istiak and I have been recently struggling with is an oceanic shipment of laptops and waiting many months to get those there, and writing supplies of papyrus, vellum, or paper with colored pencils to kind of like start up with Prince Kojo Hilton, an artist program where kids can draw even the simplest of things, crayons, of course, all of these things, and then having no shortage of women leaders that even would like to go beyond that and establish the sewing center to create a product, to begin to come to market, to sell, to become more self-sustaining financially with sales, and at the same time, through vocational education, whatever a child would like to go into, not that women need to become sewers, but whatever they would like to become, the vocationally, that is there. There's no shortage of women to teach that. We have no shortage of women teachers at all, but it's just funding and money to capitalize on what we have here, much like has occurred in Korea and India, and having 4 vehicles there and all the things that are occurring at Korea. We're trying to do that here to be successful here.
Dr. Mike asked, how is the project funded? So you said there's been donations. Is it all donations? But what's coming from the US government? Anything?
Nothing from the US government yet. And this has been part of our project and working on the new prospectus and everything, an 8-page prospectus, and talking with US aid. But so far, it does take about $50,000 to $60,000 US dollars to keep this entire operation running every year for 300 children. So that's not much when you look at the financials of 300 kids, and that includes all the instructors and eating and payroll. That's not a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that answers Dr. Mike's question. Are there any other questions? Mike?
It did. If I could just chime in, it's interesting. Like I said, in Latin America, they ran similar models where they became self-sustaining, and through that ability to expand upon, Martin, how big do they want to get? Is my next question.
So within this culture, they do build walls around their property. So these are neighbors in their homes. And that's why you see circles. So there is a lot of land available here, especially as you notice what we would say is south and west. And this is where the proposal has been for the solar farm. And there's a gentleman who is actually working on that and offering that and doing that. He's a solar expert. So they're a little bit like ahead of, our goals. But ultimately, Mike, we would like to provide 24-hour lighting from LED and have MiFi, for full Wi-Fi instruction. And we'd like to come back to the club and ask people like Dr. Pauline and yourself and Patty and others, like Shanker, to do instruction and to host a class long distance. And it would be very easy for somebody like Farah to come online, and it's part of her class that she's offering. So Farah will be able to do that long distance, on a big screen. And this is our objective.
That's fantastic.
Now, the other thing, Martin, if I can chime in. The population that we're talking about is 5 million, if I'm not mistaken. Does it continue to grow?
It is growing, as you know, and you're exactly right, Dr. Mike. Africa will eclipse India soon. By around the year of 2040 to 2050, Africa becomes the most populous area on Earth. Right now, India has become the most populous country on Earth, eclipsing China, but Africa is next, and a remarkable percentage, massively high percentage of humans that are under the age of 30. Massive.
Yeah. It's very impressive, and I love what Anab is doing, and obviously what we're supporting her with, and the club will help as well. It's fascinating. We certainly can be there as educators online. I was actually educating online to 3,000 children in Ghana on Friday. So I actually did that by recording, which I posted up on the Friends of Rotary group, and I was posting the members. But those kind of inputs, I did it online. I did it on a video because it was going to be 4 a.m. in the morning, and I didn't think my energy would be great that time of the day. But we can, as long as they've got Wi-Fi, we can come in with all sorts of inspirational pieces. And I totally agree. We can bring Farah in on amazing financial issues. I bring in the entrepreneurology stuff. And David Douglas actually had 3,000 children in the room, and half of them were female. And
Exactly.
these are kids, yeah, these are kids from 16 plus to mid-20s possibly, but I was watching it online, and it's so impressive seeing this sea of kids, young adults. I think it's phenomenal. And I think we support the pillar for education in Rotary enormously, don't we?
Yes, absolutely. So I think it would also be a good idea for the board of directors, if we have a vote, to make a donation to what we can honestly say would be our adopted orphanage. If this club was going to have an orphanage, you know, it would be very easy to say we have actually only one member that is running 4 orphanages, and we have donated money in the past from our club for
Yes.
Florida, for Puerto Rico, and for Turkey, as well as Ukraine. And it was never a lot. Trust me, it was like $50, but symbolically for the club to donate money is a very special thing. Even if it was $10, it wouldn't matter.
Oh, I think that's definitely a good idea, because $50 is a lot there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Just think,
Yes.
they're taking care of 300 children with about 56,000 US dollars per year. That's the whole year. Hundreds and hundreds of children.
Yeah. Well, I know similarly with David Douglas, you know, he was given a very wonderful personal donation from Feroz. So I just want to make that public. Feroz Bureau help.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice.
Yeah. And we can look at that again for other, because it's really just when you've got 3,000 kids in the room, you need to feed them, and that's quite a quite a challenge.
Is there a curriculum for the students that can be set up by us so that we know exactly the kind of people who can come and give that bit of training and coaching?
Yes.
Give us a little bit more time just to set up the long distance big screen, and the electricity is fine. There's no problem with that, but the Wi-Fi and MiFi feeds that would feed to that to provide a strong connection is critical.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If I may say something,
Yes,
I think a wonderful thing that Pauline did, every one of us in the club supporting Riyo Raac, especially you know, the leadership, Marti and you know, Anab gang and Istiak and all that. I'm impressed with your stint with Ghana, Dr. Pauline. I would like to learn more of those who have done business with the Ghana people, if you can share your experiences, because I am sort of planning. I might be, going there, but I'm still thinking about it. If it's safe for a single woman to travel over there. So if I can have any feedbacks from anyone in this group, that would be very valuable for me. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, definitely, I think as Marti referred to, and I agree, Marti, Africa is the most amazing continent, and there are many things that are bubbling up there. So just to explain about what's happening in Ghana for you, Farah, I know you're working with people in Ghana as well, Marti. Oh, David Douglas is my direct contact. He's the David Douglas Leadership Forum. But his passion is with these young adults, the students from various schools in Accra and outside Accra. And one specific school, which is apparently the most famous school in Accra, it's the school where presidents are born of, African nations, that kind of history. And they are doing this every quarter. So this one they did on Friday was the second one. So I believe that they are looking at, they are continuing this education. And in fact, we're hoping to work with them as these kids leave school. So the goal is, as well as getting them when they're young, and that's why it's interesting in Somaliland, is if we oh, hi.
Anab is here. Hi.
Hi, you made it.
Assalamualaikum. Hi. Welcome. You can unmute yourself. Unmute.
Where you're on mute. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you at the moment.
Said okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Good morning. I am
Oh, good
so
morning.
Good
sorry.
morning.
You can see the airport. I'm right here. I'm a
Oh.
port. Yeah, we got canceled last night, and we're here now on 11 o'clock flight, hoping that it will happen. It was really a trip of like no other, but I'm so glad that you guys carrying on. I see Abdurrashid's
Yes.
on. Okay, great. So I'm so sorry. I'm here. And if you hear the, announcements, just forget about it. So I'm here for it.
Thank you, Anab. And Marti gave us a wonderful insight into everything that you're doing. So we can actually.
I knew Marty will do it. He knows everything about Riyo Raac Foundation.
Thanks to you, I do.
Thank
I know about Wadamago and Hargeisa and Barbera.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you.
But
Appreciate it.
we also, maybe on the next meeting, which is our the fourth Tuesday, which is the 25th, I think it is. If you're with us, then you can share more about your passion. Marty's given us the facts. We've got all the information. So you can give us some insight into your personal passion about that. That would be fantastic. So I was just talking about children and young adults and the whole idea that we can support them in different countries. I'm doing some work in Ghana, but really my passion is that we help these children to grow into their teens and then into their young adulthood and create their own businesses. So I'm very passionate about the idea of increasing their capacity to set up their own businesses, especially boys and girls to know that future is ahead of them, that they can create businesses with their husband and with their children. They can create family businesses. So on Friday, I was doing a 12-minute video slot on David Douglas's session where he had 3,000 children in the room. Now, I was saying to them, you can make all sorts of businesses. You can do businesses on your own. You can do businesses with your peers. You could do businesses with your parents, but you could also do family businesses. You can create family businesses. And I think there's a real energy for that. So when I lived in Malaysia for 4 years, I was working with many entrepreneur women, such as Farah, and every woman always wants to create a business and at the same time create a foundation. I found that a very fascinating energy of women, that even when they didn't have much of a business, they were going to transform the world with their foundation. So there is that passion that comes together. And I think that's really, really important. And I love the fact that you're helping these boys and girls to be inspired. That's what we need to do. And when you've got the Wi-Fi together there, we'll all be able to come in and do things online and inspire the kids in different ways. So that will be fantastic. And I'm sure that Shankar, you will be able to come in as well, everybody in the club.
Sure,
So as we
sure.
find out about the passion of the club, we can actually give you a whole rostrum of interesting subject matter experts, which will be fantastic. So
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
yeah.
Paul.
Yeah, I did a good job, boss.
Yeah. So so right now the entire project is funded with donations. So yes, we'll look as a board of directors to actually make a donation from the club to your foundation, which will be fantastic. And also let's look at how these pieces fit together in educating the world of children. That's the way we create hope in the world, isn't it? So are there any more questions at the moment for the?
Yeah,
Yes, Shankar.
I just wanted to understand a little bit on the crayons that you mentioned. I didn't get it exactly how the dynamics work. So that I thought maybe we can replicate that here somewhere. If a crayons company can sponsor so that the creative side of kids can be explored. Is that what it is?
Yeah, essentially, in India through Kriya, the school there, we've expanded a lot of these things and also built a medicinal garden where children that want to study, growth, agriculture, cultivation, crops, how to get various different roots to make medicines. So that became a huge part of Kriya, the school there in India that we've been working with through this club. And we hope to do the same thing with Anab in our adopted orphanage for this club, is to also have agricultural resources, farming, fields, hydroponics, where if there are children that would like to creatively, do agriculture, Shankar, that there would be a whole area to do that. And then that becomes self-sustaining because it's making money. You're selling products, and we know the food products that would work good in this particular area of Somaliland. We know the food products that grow there. I showed you the fig tree that Anab taught me.
Yes.
They should be sitting underneath that tree. And you saw the tree of Wadamago in so many of the logos. That's the famous tree. But creatively, I think there's a lot of creative ways. We've also asked questions like, which of the children are good drawers with colored pencils? Because if you have 300 kids, there's probably 4 or 5 of them that are destined to become architects, and they're good at drawing and designs. And with a teacher, even if we were to beam somebody in from London, and they were a senior excellent architect and they were having a class once a week, then you could beam them in on a big screen via Wi-Fi and MiFi and the internet, and they can be teaching and bring those children further and further and further down the line. So essentially it starts with crayons and paper and coloring books, and then it grows to colored pencils. And Anab and I have watched our own daughter Raina, how creative she is. And then they get into painting and pastels and watercolors and oil paints, and canvases get bigger and bigger. And this is how you can cultivate different trades and skills, whether it's through vocational education or ultimately like our several 18-year-olds that are graduating, have just graduated this year from the orphanage. They're headed on out into society now. Yeah. They're hopefully ready to go, and we've given them trades and skills. So we want to do more of this, and we realize it does start with crayons. and having that available. And paper is great, but a coloring book's even better, especially get the kids going. So there's a lot of stuff that Anab has been doing, since 2012, almost 20 years now, for hundreds and hundreds of kids. And historically, her and her husband Yusuf have paid for all of this out of their pocket. Okay, but we
So,
do have
would it be enough-
donations.
Can we find a company that has coloring books that would sponsor actual products in?
We could. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know where they are, but yeah, because it's not just money, is it? It's supplies as well.
yes, absolutely. And Anab knows, on a weekly basis what they need and what she's working on. And I did showcase the brand new girls building, Anab, and the well work. And so she's got different projects. When she comes back to us in 2 weeks, she has even more new stuff to talk about, Shankar.
Okay,
Okay.
because I was thinking, Marty, that there is something like young entrepreneurs. And if there was a way to spark off the entrepreneurial spirit at the age of 18 or even less, it can be quite a differentiator for some of the students. Like I remember when I was supposed to go into this subject or that subject, there was something missing. I felt the missing was the point that I wanted to do something on my own. And at that point, I did not have any option to go into something just to study how to be creative about your logic. And if we can inculcate, students have such creative ideas, and if we can turn them into entrepreneurs or any entrepreneur, that would be a shift in the whole program. Wherever they are, whichever part of the world, they can make a difference. I mean, yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
thank you. One of the things I wanted to share, because you all may or not, you may know or not, but Dr. Jim, my husband and I, we run something called the International University of Entrepreneurology. So I've just put entrepreneurology on my tag there. And that's,
Okay.
Shankar, I haven't explained that to you, but I would like to explain that at the next meeting, because that's the goal. We've got a baseline program now, which is online. And Marty, I'd love you to, and Shankar, and Anab, any of to actually be part of our beta test. We're just doing that now. But this is goal to actually open up the mindset of anybody from age 14 plus. And by doing that, they would still need facilitation and ideas on specific tasks and trades and crafts, but it's a mindset online portal. And my vision is that we can actually do this in different countries, and then the country facilitator will be there. So like David Douglas in Ghana, or Anab will have somebody in Somaliland, you will have somebody where you are, Shankar, that the kids will actually go into this online and experience themselves, and it will make them question themselves. And it's got lots of very inspirational pieces in videos for Steve Jobs, or, it's got a lot of good content in. So I'd like to share that with you all, because if we can start inspiring these young kids to know that there's more than just their lesson, that's where we're going to make a difference in the world. We have one of our peers.
Please count me into this. This is my passion.
Sorry?
This is my passion. Please count me in.
Yes. Well, I'll get you all to do the beta test, and you'll be able to see the content, and then we can spread it. Because once these kids start doing this, they will be the inspiration. They'll be the Steve Jobs of the future. That's my vision. I found a story of a young boy. He was 10 at the time. He was in Sierra Leone, I think, but he was finding trash in the trash cans because he wanted to make something. And he made this thing, I don't know how it worked, but it actually gave his grandmother aircon in her little house. And so her neighbor said, I want one. And then her neighbor said, I want one. And then her neighbor said, I want one. So this little boy, at 13, he was making these units. He got spotted by somebody when he did a TikTok movie, and he was picked up by MIT, and he's now sponsored, and he has his own foundation sponsored from America. So these kind of things happen. Yeah. And if you, I want to post my little 12-minute video on the members group. Please watch it because it will give you the ideas about what I'm talking about. But we can spread it faster by doing this online. So once you get the Wi-Fi in there, Marty, once we
Yeah,
get the Wi-Fi,
and I need cash from everybody on this call too. I need your wallet out and your pocketbook out. Because, you know, it does take raw cash and not talk or drooling down your pant leg to do these things. And yesterday, of course, I announced the $200,000 fundraise in Ghana at our solar farm. And it's going fantastic. We're very close to our first 100,000. We've raised as much as 500,000 a shot in the Democratic Republic of the Congo with Altec, a solar lighting company, and another 500,000 that we raised in Nigeria for 25,000 women chicken farmers. And so through Kiva, you guys can earn as little as $5. So just pay attention to what we're doing, stick with us, and come in for $5. And if you want to give 5 to Somaliland, that would be awesome. Patty has been our biggest donor. Yeah, Patty.
fantastic. That's
Okay.
wonderful.
I do have a question about the farm, if I may.
Yes,
You mentioned agriculture, but I did have a question, being that Riyo Raac means goat herders. The goat milk could be really, really essential for an orphanage for the younger kids. And I'm wondering, and then the milk could also produce cheese, which is nourishing as well for the older kids. Is there any intention for the goat farming, being that it is one of their, you know, maybe Ali or Anab can answer. I'm not sure if Anab's still here.
I'm here, Patty. Good morning. You got
There you are. There's a lot going on the screen. So
Yes.
yeah, if you could answer the question, I don't know if you're ready for that.
I actually did not hear it because there's a lot of noise here at the airport. So I didn't hear it clearly.
Marty, may you interpret it for me? Because you know I have a mouthful of words that sometimes it gets confusing.
Abdi
About
Rashid
agriculture.
or Anab, Patty's question was about goats and goat herding. Is it possible to grow that out into milk and cheese?
Oh my God, Patty, number one, you know, you know our family nickname is Goat Herder, Riyo Raac. Did you hear me?
That's why I asked, because Marty did mention that he did give, you know, the acknowledgement of that beautiful, and that's why I was curious, because we're talking now about agriculture, but I'm wondering if that's part of the vision.
You know what? You are absolutely, my God, brilliant mind, because Abdirashid will tell us the agriculture and the pastoral lifestyle is what sustains the people over there, especially the children. In fact, they are lacking milk. They are lacking milk. And the only milk they get is the canned milk. There is not enough goat and sheep and the cow in that area because of the continuous drought over there. So if we had, let's say we have a farm and we raise goat and sheep, the children, even their livelihood will be a lot better because there will be fresh milk. And the meat, now every Friday, only we slaughter a couple of goat and sheep for them every Friday. So they eat meat every Friday. They don't eat meat the rest of the week because we can't afford it.
And cotton too, I'm sorry to interrupt, it also could provide to make clothes as well down the line.
Down the line. So this is an excellent idea. It does need money and it does need time, because Abdirashid knows very close to where the orphanage Wadamago is, there is a lot of land we could acquire and fence it off and raise sheep, goat, and water is the most important thing. If we had like a rig, a flow of water that's not only depending on the raining season, then water is life. And right now we are digging a well just for them to have a drinking water. Mm-hmm. But if we can have a well that does not stop, and for the farm and for the goat and for all of that, that will be huge. That will be huge. So that's an excellent idea, Patty. So we'll definitely take that to the next level. I was thinking about also acquiring a land for vegetation, for farming. So it goes along with a goat, with a sheep.
Well, we need to feed the goat. So we need to feed the goat that could provide milk.
Yes. Yes, we do. So this is an
a whole
excellent thing.
ecosystem. Thank you for answering the question. And thank you, Marty, for honoring the name.
Yeah, Riyo Raac goat herders.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
A very
So-
proud trade, a very proud trade. And think about all the things that shepherds have done in the world to make it a better
Yes.
place. You know, I was in the desert of Jordan, and shepherds came in on camels, and they said, "Oh, bring them in to sit down." And they sat down with us in the sheikh's tent. We were having dinner and eating with the right hand only, of course. And all of a sudden, a cell phone went off. And I was like, "What? The guy had a cell phone in his." I was like, "Oh, you just ruined it. You ruined it. You have a." He's like, "Yes, there is service all around here through the desert on camel." I was like, "Oh my gosh." He had a cell phone. He was he was a shepherd, but he was part of the desert police that would save you if you get lost or stuck in the desert. He was one of the famous Bedouin nomads. It was amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, once we get connected around the world, we can actually help each other so much more. So thank you for putting the link in the chat. That's really important for everybody who's watching this afterwards. You put that in the, did you put that in the members group and the friends group?
Yes, it's in the members and friends group. This is the way we have raised up almost $2 billion. Right now, we have about 2 million investors. You can invest as little as $5. And remember, Kiva is all about investments and loans. You get your
Yes.
cash back. It's not about donations. Riyo Raac Foundation is accepting donations, which I give to all the time. You can give $5, $20, $100 at riyoraacfoundation.org. But to spur things even further forward, like Shankar was mentioning, when you start teaching vocational skills to children in certain tracks of agriculture, pastoral care, eventually they're going to need money for their businesses. And that's where we provide billions of dollars across the earth, like our loans that are open right now. In India today, we have loans, and in Mexico, Argentina. And you'll also notice, of course, in Ghana, $200,000 that we're raising. And we will be successful. We will hit our target. We will crush it.
Yes. And I think there's a really interesting connection between Kiva, what you're doing, and the entrepreneurology, and really expressing these kids' ideas. Because when these kids come through, and say you had 10% of 3,000 children who all had a great idea, they would all need loans. So it works. And
They need
way
the money, Pauline. Once they graduate through Entrepreneurology Institute and they learn their trade with their interest, like Shankar said, of something they love, they are going to need money. And this is where Anab and I have figured out with Abdi Rashid Mahmoud, donations are very important. Donors, raw cash donated, but then also having the billions of dollars behind each child to incubate the businesses through Kiva is where loans are also very important. Even Prince Kojo Hilton asked me, can I get some cash like that guy, the artist in Ghana? I was like, oh, are you interested in Abdul? Because we just gave him another $7,000. He keeps coming back for loans. And so then they can grow like that, Pauline. Once they're an entrepreneur, they can keep coming back for $25,000 each year and grow their business bigger and bigger.
Absolutely. And I love that. There's a statement in this lovely book I got. He said, know that you are the creator of your own life and the hero of your own story. And that was the message that they were giving to these kids on Friday. So it's all there. We have the possibilities. So before we close, I want to thank you all. Is there any business that we need to discuss? Patty, I know that you had a fabulous session with Shankar, and I want to be grateful to you
Yes,
for doing
and
that.
I do want to highlight that we are now having donations, but you can win money back. We are having a raffle. So if you buy a raffle of as minimal as $5, you are by default donating, okay? And then you even have a chance to win when we raffle off at the right around the holidays. Again, really good stuff happening here. And again, we are now as a club thinking about really taking on this orphanage as like quivers, you know, and I love that, you know, I love being a mom across the pond. So
Yeah, definitely. And Shankar, thank you for stepping into that session with Patty. I believe it was a very inspirational session.
Inspirational, insightful, very enjoyable, and the way Patty articulates difficult parts of the whole process into such easily doable things. And I want to thank Patty for that, for making it very easy. Thank you, Pauline.
Pauline, I wanted to just highlight what Patty was saying. If you go to RotaryGlobalImpact.org, right here under Welcome and Love, right here is, of course, when you're at the top of any page where it says Welcome and Love, buy a 50/50 ticket is right here. So if you buy a 50/50 ticket and you're already on DAC-DB like I am, it knows me. Otherwise, if you're not a member of our club and you're not a member of DAC-DB, you can just use the guest registration. Just put your name in here. And you would go through this, and this is how you can buy a 50/50 ticket. And so, you know, your badge name, you could just put something like, if you have a nickname, that's like Joey. Okay. And this is how you would buy a 50/50 ticket. You would just go through this little process here and just continue forward. And then, you know, you're going to tell it like, oh, how many tickets do you want for $5 a piece? Give me 10 tickets. Okay. And it'll do it for you. And then here you'll just proceed forward for the 50/50 drawing. That drawing is Tuesday, November 14th, live during the meeting. And this will be drawn live on air for everybody to watch and see. This is the brainchild of Dr. Crawford, and Patty Frudenberg set all this up. And you would just pay. Right there, you're done. Look, I was done in less than 30 seconds. And just remember, don't get caught up on the name badge thing. Everyone's asking me, what is that? Oh, I'm stuck. I couldn't go forward. What is a badge name? It's just a nickname, whatever you know, Frankie, whatever. And you would just pay right there. And this is how we raise money in the club, is with the 50/50 drawing. So, you know, it's very easy to come into the club. At the top of every page, we have the 50/50 ticket.
Yes, that's fantastic. And that will take us right up to just before Christmas. So whoever wins will get a bonus for their Christmas celebration.
Holiday cash, New Year's cash. Muhammad's birthday is middle of October. You know, there's lots of things going on for New Year's. Whatever you're into, Diwali, get some cash, you know, Chinese New Year. Opportunity is endless to win some money. Absolutely.
So I think for now we've come to the end of our meeting. Remember, today is the 8th of the 8th. It's a very special day for setting dreams and desires. And I think we have some, and when we meet on the 4th Tuesday, we will hope that you'll be there sharing your passion, and I'm going to share my passion, and we're going to check into all the members, see what their passions are, what their passion projects are, and wake everybody up. And I will put this replay up on our new YouTube channel which I still have to understand how it works, but I'm sure I will. And I'll get a lesson from Riyo or from Marti, but I uploaded the first meeting and I think it ended up on my YouTube channel, so I don't quite know what that was. It was a mystery to me, but we'll work it out.
Thank you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Anab. Thank you, Patty.
Bye.
Thank you, Mark, Bianca, Clara, Doris, Dr. Mike, Desiree. Thank you, and let's go forward and make happiness and hope in the world.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, everybody. See you. Bye-bye.